Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Insurance Town. I'm the Mayor, Heath Sheeran, and the host of this podcast. And I'm pumped you're here hanging out because I got my good friend Carl hanging out with me today from Gaia. And I truly do. I just love this man. Like, we've gotten to know each other over the last few years, and it's just been fun. I can't wait to get him on the show. Before I do, though, I got to talk to you about my sponsors. And I love them, as you know. Starting with no particular order, my friends over at Canopy Connect, the one-click solution to getting the deck pages you need to quote your prospects. And they also have, their intake platform where you can intake all the information you need to quote. You could get deck pages, you could get loss runs, you can get driver lists, anything that you need. Go to usecanopy.com/Heath. Get a demo. Make sure you get your discount. Tell them the mayor sent you. I don't know what you're doing if you're not using Canopy Connect. They're a game changer, and I absolutely love the team over there. Also, my friends over at One Fort AI. Make sure you go check it out. They are AI for insurance agencies. Save time and win more commercial P&C by automating your submissions, quoting, and binding with AI. And they've already saved thousands of agencies time and money, and thousands of hours for that matter, using One Fort. Go to onefort.ai and tell them the mayor sent you, and you'll get a discount. You'll get your demos booked. You'll be able to talk to some really cool folks over there. My good friend Caleb Kramer just joined the team, and I love that guy. Go check him out. And lastly, my friends over at Mav. Ditch the call center, and nobody likes getting those robocalls and those, boring calls that people want to know how they can sell you something. You don't want that. Use a texting platform with Mav where they can help you qualify the best leads and connect them to your producers, your CSRs, your account managers in a way that's way better than a call center. Guys, go to hiremav.com and check it out. Now, I'm going to get out of the way and stop talking about that so we can get in the guest of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, Carl Ziade. What's going on, brother?
Such an intro was from Scott Howell with Bradley. You guys put in a good introductory show here, so love it.
Oh, dude, thank you. How you been, brother?
I've been good, man. Been good. We just came back from some of the Marshberry conferences that you there. So congrats first on tagging along for the ride with the first choice team. So things have been good since we last chatted before Christmas, and the company is growing well. We're doubling down and growing well, so can't complain. And family also, more importantly, is doing fantastic. Boston's weather is coming together nicely now. It was pretty depressing over the winter, so really nice spring, summer vibes coming in, so can't complain at all.
All right, so you talk about family. You know what? Because that's the most important thing in my life, and I know yours too. You're growing a family as well as your company in Gaia. So you got 2 kids under 3, right? And so what's that been like for you guys? I know you got a brand new one.
Yeah. We were one of those that managed to do 2 under 2. I mean, not much for me, man. It's mostly my wife that's putting everything together, but it's definitely fun, rewarding, and it feels like it's like the best gun to your head to make sure that you spend your time efficiently and rightfully, and also make sure you're building the right thing. And it's fun to build. Like, the other day, my son wanted so eagerly to open the pull-up banner that I use in conferences. So he opened it up, he stood next to it, and he's like, "Papa, photo." So he's French educated. And so it's pretty nice. Yours just entered freshman, didn't he?
Yes.
Where is he going?
Freshman orientation, man, starting at University of Arkansas in the fall, and I am excited for him. I have been crying since August, to be honest with you, and now I'm finally at this excited stage. I got to go see him and meet his class, meet people and be there and see the campus. And I've been an Arkansas Razorback fan my whole life, and so now I'm going to be paying them lots of money alongside of that.
That's going to be fun, man. Did you go yourself as well there?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not, but I've been a fan since we moved here when I was a kid. So I'm excited for him to get to go there. So it's really cool.
Are they good at football and all the stuff?
We're getting there. Getting there. Some would say no, but for us, we're happy if we can just be in the middle of the pack. We're not going to be in Alabama or Georgia, but we're okay. But before we get too deep into that kind of stuff, like I would love to know I'd love the audience to know. I've gotten to know you a little bit, but tell the audience about, where you come from. Let's take a walk down memory lane and take
Yeah.
me back as far as you want to, and then lead me up to where you how you got to where you are today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for, a minute or two.
Yeah, originally a computer guy, an immigrant from Lebanon. He met my co-founder Jean-Pierre when I came to Stanford for my business school studies, and since then we started hustling together. We didn't have any into insurance back then, but we built a car sharing marketplace at first that failed miserably, and then pivoted into car loan refinancing. And we wanted to do it through insurance agents, trying to elevate the standard and non-standard car insurance discussion away from saving $10-15 per month on a car insurance bill and pivoting that conversation into saving hundreds of dollars on the car loan payments. Because car loans are originated by dealerships who don't make money from the selling of the car itself, but actually from the financing of the cars. So we built that for a year, hustled through it, sat with hundreds of agencies, watched them how they work, and I actually just made the LinkedIn post today with the title "Just a Second," right? Like every time you're on the phone with an agent, they're like, "Yeah, just a sec. Let me figure it." It's because they are hustling and entering data into so many carrier portals. So we saw them doing a shit ton of copy and paste, and it was evident to us that there needs to be a new automation solution. Sure, the API mentality is a great mentality, but for the past 10 years, it's been 2 years away from the industry being full-blown API with the great standards and everything flowing. But that didn't come back in 2023. It wasn't there. Still 2026, it's not there. So there needs to be a complementary solution that's over the top, which is Gaia, this browser extension, the way we call it, super copy, super paste, which I'm sure we're going to get into more details. But that's a bit of the walk through memory lane. As for the family side, I got married to my high school sweetheart, whom I've met in Lebanon. We were in the same high school together, hustled through 10 years of long distance, where she was in London, as I was working in the Middle East and going to Stanford. So that's a bit of me and the company within it in like a minute and a half.
Oh, I love it, man. One of the things that I do want to dig into a little bit, because, as I've gotten to know you and your partner, I love hearing partnership stories. I know you guys met in college and, and growing these companies together and whatnot. Could you talk to me a little bit about, because that's a big, broad term, but what the word partnership means to you from a standpoint of Jean-Pierre and working with him, but then also partnership, in general in insurance business and with Gaia, with what you guys do in general.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Start first with Jean-Pierre.
Yeah. So I treat business partnership similar to marriage to a great extent. You want to be on the same page in front of your team. You want to fight internally, but not really in front of clients. Like treatment of respect, treatment of solidarity, loyalty, transparency. A couple that doesn't talk through stuff and is vulnerable is not going to make it past the storm. And so we treat it similar to how you would treat a marriage. Jean-Pierre would hate me saying it publicly on a podcast, but to some extent, the word work husband kind of applies to him.
Right, I get it.
So
that's funny.
So to a great extent, there's a lot of similarities. And now, as I became a father, I also feel like a lot of the skill set is transferable on the family level, personal level, and the professional level. The way we recruit for people, the way we ask them questions to make sure they are a fit for the company, the way we double down and make bets in different areas, the way we treat our clients. I think most Silicon Valley founders are, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but there is this prevalent mindset in Silicon Valley that when you're talking to someone, you're endlessly hunting for the $1 billion opportunity to build, and you're constantly pivoting, which is a great mindset. We carry that mindset, but we carry with it something that maybe doesn't help us, right, on the long term, becoming the next Steve Jobs. But in the short term, it's a joy to build in this industry. And what I mean by that is when we go to a customer in the early days, when we didn't have the product built up, and we would hear their problems, we would tell them what we're hoping to build, and then really making sure we deliver on the promise and emailing them in person, telling them, hey, we've built that, and that was because of a question we asked you, blah, blah, blah. So holding whoever invested in us, both from a sweat, from money, from a subscription, these are like the early stage customers are investors. And so that carried a long way for us.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I love that you bring up, there's so many things I could unpack there, but going backwards, when you talk about listening to those early customers and just those prospects and people like that, And before you even had it fully built out, you were listening. And so many times when I talk to sales teams, and I talk to insurance agents, and I've conducted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of podcast episodes, you know, it's a big thing of more than selling. It's more about listening and more about, you know, identifying the challenges and the problems that you can solve. And so I love that you guys were intentional in that in the beginning of building any company that you started with.
Yep. I think it's very important. And also, it's very important to build in the mindset, just like an insurance agent mindset. Your mindset is, how can I become profitable so that I can continue sustainably building my business, right? And you've had an agency before, that was the mindset. So, in my mind, also building Gaia, it's very important that we would build something people were willing to pay for and continue paying for, and us making sure we deliver on what we're building. And that's what puts us in this very interesting category compared to all the other insurtechs out there that are very much reliant on venture capital money. A lot of money being deployed in the space. So I'm very happy to see the space flourishing with a lot of tech vendors. And the one thing that differentiates us is that we're making sure to build in a smart way something that people really want versus low-hanging fruits that can be wrapped around a lot of the foundational models. So that has been our approach: listening and betting on the right stuff versus really spreading ourselves too thin.
Yeah, and you know, as you've and you said you didn't come from that insurance background. However, you know, as you've listened and you've learned about the sales process and you've learned how, you know, this kind of works, talk to me about some of those things that you identify and some of the things that you've learned about the sales process of insurance agencies and things of that nature.
First, man, I feel like, you know, I really feel like I want to open an insurance agency one day. It's, now I'm an expert in the process. Any AMS you want, any carrier you want, I can talk markets, I can talk I can talk all sorts of stuff because you live and breathe what your customers' pain points are, right? And I would lie to you if I say I don't feel sometimes imposter. Like, yeah, like I it feels to me that it's wrong that in my background I don't have an insurance agency. And so maybe in my my 40s or 50s I'm going to open one, but that's like to start with that. Now, in terms of like stuff we're learning, I think that everyone got hit, including tech founders, with this tsunami of Claude and Open and ChatGPT. And I don't think everyone is yet wrestling well with the huge benefits it's providing. I feel like a lot is jumping too early on so many stuff versus really embracing and being able to determine the amazing uplift that these foundational horizontal tools have provided. We're seeing a lot of agencies doubling down and building their own stuff with Cloud Code or with Lovable or with so many of these other tools where you can chat and build on the go. Sure, security will come later on, maintenance problem will come later on, but we're very excited to see a lot of people building quick stuff for themselves. I mean, some of them venture into building their own CRM, and that's too much because a CRM is too complex in nature to be handled, and you will probably end up paying way more money on tokens to Cloud to build it up. But stuff like a great appetite checker, a great Q&A specialist for your specific line, specific niche, proposal tools, policy checking tools, all of these stuff, we've been able to see a lot of agents rising up and building on top, and other agents not yet experimenting them, but I feel like whenever we meet them, we tend to advise that they double down a lot in this area so that they can, benefit from the ROI on a $20 subscription, and then determine what they want to do next and invest in. So definitely there is a big hype. There's a lot of folks not knowing where they should place their bets. And I think like the simplest bet is to bet on what's now the most common thing, see it for yourself, and then see who else is standing so you can continue your betting journey. But the most important thing for me when I talk to agencies is process is way more important than technology. I've met with insurance agents that have no tech, just an AMS, and they are running at 6 million in premium with 2 people, so 3 million per head. And talk about efficiency and lean, they are very lean. And so process, in my view, will culture eats strategy for breakfast. That's what everyone says. We say at Gaia that even for us as a tech company, we tell our customers, process will eat technology for breakfast. Make sure to streamline your ship before you start betting on the kind of oil you want to use to have the valves working better. So that have been like a quick learning. Sorry, it was a bit, I'm rambling a bit, but I think that's what you're after.
No, I think you're spot on, you know, because again, I'm a big proponent of talking to people about the biggest currency is not money, it's time. Yeah. And so when you talk about that agency running lean, you know, on, you know, 2 or 3 people, they're, you know, have this $6 million agencies or whatever it might be. If you can find a way to save that time and save those clicks and save, you know, those kind of things, that's way more valuable than, you know, the next dollar bill coming in, because it's going to create, you know, opportunities to make more money and put you in a situation where you're so efficient and you're making more time and you're doing that so that the dollar bills are going to roll in. And so what are some of those things that you're seeing that are providing the best ROI with currency in those processes that you're seeing?
So I think that first, like even before the process, that is the mindset of the agents. So you have a lot of agency owners that by design are enthusiastic and excited, but some of them don't have a team that is supportive of their initiatives. And by supportive, you're talking about a lot of character traits: enthusiasm, energy, seeing the long picture. A lot of, you know, there is a lot of agencies with staff that are not seeing eye to eye. And so whenever you have that, yes, you might have a good process, but the adoption, the willingness to change, this is the biggest pain. Change management is the biggest pain, right? Yes, technology, it's like, yeah, makes sense. I want to do less copy and paste. Let's use Gaia, all right? I want to do less repetitive data entry. But if the team is just, you know, too comfortable doing what they used to do, even though like they want to walk instead of taking the bus to go from point A to point B, let alone the train, let alone going supersonic. If they are not interested and they're just comfortable walking, and there's not the right culture, not really about enforcing the use, but really the culture of embracing newness and being reinvigorated and whatnot, things can never really work. So that's like part one. So in my view, talking to now around 1,000 agency owners over the past 4 years, like team built up and mindset built up in the agency is very important. And sometimes it's too hard to build. But that's like number one. In terms of process, not every agency owner is great at figuring out their own process. And I would say this about myself as a founder: I'm not great at figuring out even internal processes. And that's why I'm lucky that Jean-Pierre helps complement my lack. Some agency owners are solo, so who complements their lack? And that's where we always recommend they would go to great advisors in the industry. Talk about Mariah Gates, the agency Zoom queen, I call her. I don't know if they call her this way, but you know, she's been, you know,
no, she's definitely that for sure.
Yeah. Lava Automation, Austin, like Patrick McBride helps a lot of great circles around her. Elise at Connection Insurance helps a lot of circles around her. So there is a lot of folks. Casey Nelson, Catalyst, right? So Casey Nelson, he's like the best at this. And
shout out.
Exactly. And so a lot of these folks gravitating around them and immersing in a process conversation that is not like, yeah, give me my pro. No, you got to learn. You got to immerse. You got to bring them to the team. You got to show them how your things work, and then embrace step-by-step improvements. And so that's like on the process side, like whether it is on the new sales side, how you know, having Canopy Connect is great for a lot of agencies. Having Salt is greater for another set of agencies. Having Risk Advisor is great for another set of agencies. Figure out where you play. Do you have a VA on the team that does most of the quote? Great. I would think Risk Advisor. Are you mostly an online leads and your folks don't want to sign up to their carrier portal? Salt. Most of your clients would actually want to dig up, and you want actually for them to go through the hustle of forgetting password and finding a password. Canopy Connect. So that's where we always refer to different agencies we work with, which intake they want to use so that they can get going. And you know, they based on your style, the risk profile you're after, the community you live in, that's where a process consultant comes in and makes great recommendation. But there is no one winner fits all. And that's the beauty of the ecosystem now, where there's a lot of
You're speaking my language. You're speaking my language, because that's something that I'm a big, you know, talker about, is that shiny object syndrome. And people go to these conferences and be like, oh, you know, Carl down the street at his agency, he's got Canopy Connect, so I have to have it. Or he's got Gaia, so I have to have it. But it may not fit for your agency. Or, you know, I got Risk Advisor, so it's going to work here. Or agency Zoom for my agency, but it may not fit for your agency. Maybe a different product works for you, and you got to figure out what works best for your culture, for your processes. And I think if you can map those processes out, and have that, and then find, the technology that fits within that, instead of trying to just put square peg and round hole, and we bought this, so we have to force it into our. No, that helps with that change management to make sure that you have those conversations with your team, have those conversations. I think you're right on. And I
on the
think,
change management side, it's really a function of starting small. You're rolling out the stack, great. Get 2 users to use it first. Get them to adopt. If they hate it, it's not even worth bringing it to the rest. Right? That's what we always recommend when deploying Gaia. Start with 2, let them love it, and then scale it. And as you scale, don't scale it like a big bang thing. Scale it to another 3, another 4, another 5. Graduate rollout. Assign someone from the team to be the owner of that implementation, whether they are juniors on the team or very seniors. Assign someone, let them own it. Let them make sure that they train the rest, that they check in on the rest. They don't impose but inspire. So all of this, like we used to call it, in my previous life, I was a consultant, a strategy consultant, and we used to do change management for rollouts in companies with 10,000 employees. And so we used to call them finding the exemplar, right? And finding that change agent that is not just because they want to look cool and be a change agent, but actually because they understand that it's not about them and them becoming more efficient. It's about the team jumping on a different new wagon to get they can go faster and really achieve the goals they set for themselves.
When you find that person, and when you find that, change, what do you call it, exemplar, or that change agent, and it's a staff member, I feel like that's going to be a better situation, because the other CSRs, the other account managers, the other producers, they're going to listen to one of their own more than they might listen to, say, the owner even. Absolutely. Or a outside consultant. If they've got Sally, who they've worked with for 5 years, who's using this, like, they're going to be more likely, because Sally's in the trenches with them every day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's how we do it. Like when we roll out, we choose the exemplars, as I call them, like the change agent, to be both good at technology to some extent, but also good at people. A lot of the time you might find someone great at tech that no one wants to talk to because they are like too advanced for me, right? So, oh no, this guy is too advanced for me. And so you want to have like the perfect combination of someone approachable and comfortable with technology, not necessarily too comfortable, because then you end up building the wrong product for people that are too much into shortcuts, right? And being cool and fancy and stuff. But, keeping it simple and keeping someone that's social enough to, rally it and build the right mindset internally. And the other thing I would say is, when it comes to the rollout, to your point, after we train the first 2, we join the call to roll it out with the others, but we keep it shut. We let that person that has been using it talk about how they have been using it. And if we were just there in the background, right? If there is something we need to clarify that they couldn't deliver, we support. But when it comes to rollout, that has been our approach.
And I think that it's such a smart approach. And, I think there needs to be a lot of that, not just with tech, but I think even with processes. I think it should be, with different AI solutions that you bring in, because I think, to your point, earlier when you were talking about, some of the AI stuff that people are bringing in, I think there's a lot of people that are going all in, and they're, making so many changes. And then maybe a month later, like, well, that didn't work. Let's move to the next shiny thing. And then that didn't work. Let's build this. And on the other side, I think there's a lot of people listening to this right now that have paralysis by analysis. And it's like, there's so much coming at them. They're like, I'm just not going to do anything because I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so, they get to this place where it's like, oh, AI is just going to take my jobs, or AI is going to do this, or AI is going to hallucinate and do this. And there's so much fear that they don't know where to go. So if you could just help someone maybe that's looking to like dip their toe in the water, like, I know I need to get AI, whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, whatever. I know I need to get into AI, but I don't know where to start. Could you give any advice of like where someone might even be able to start?
Yeah, like I think that most people should start by using not the free version, but at least pay the $20 subscription so that you can protect your data and make sure the models are not trained on it. To any one of these tools, I like Claude more, but at least for now, I like it more. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Hacker News updates around Claude slipping over the past week, and that is as of May 20, 2026. If you're listening to this podcast afterward, Claude can be a genius by then. But it seems like the GPT 5.5 is slightly putting pressure on the smartness of our nice Claude Opus, whatever we have today. But in any case, like the starting point is the chat function. Use it to summarize, use it to do some policy comparisons, etc. Pay attention. Yes, there is the longer you stay in one chat, the more it starts hallucinating. So you pay attention to it. But when it comes to the naysayers who, after they see the first hallucination, give up and start like fearing it, I would say it's also a practice of just understanding how to work with it better. So don't just throw the towel at it, and instead figure it out, whether it's someone internally figuring out how to better use it, connecting with other people, with other agencies that have used it. But there is a lot of ways that you can build a skill, a project, a gem if you're using Gemini. And that is very important for someone to go and immerse and make sure that the identity of the company and the style of the person writing the email comes through. And there's a lot of ways that you can do it. So just dip your toes in the chats. You're going to be impressed already. And I'm sure most agencies have done it. But don't quit and judge it too early if you are, because it can deliver much more if you give it better guidance. And the giving guidance is intimidating. Building your own cloud skill on a GitHub file is very intimidating. So work with someone. The industry is filled with loving folks that want to contribute for free all their insights. And so that's what I would say is the best starting point. And then layer on it. As you see the improvements, layer on it. Don't go full big bang. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, and talk to me. Okay, so there's obviously AI is obviously the big broad terminology, and some people are tired of hearing about AI, and some people are just some people still think it's sexy to talk about, and it's a lot of things. And you've heard over the last year or two a lot about the generative AI and like all that kind of stuff, and now you're hearing like agentic AI, and then you're hearing early stages of AI. But Gaia's built a little bit differently. They're not just one thing or another, or they're not, the generative or the agent. You guys built, what you guys are doing in a different way, and with the Super Cuppy and Super Paste. And, I've been a huge fan since you guys, first launched, and, as and we've gotten to know each other. But those that may not know what Gaia is or what you guys are doing and what you guys have built, you guys are definitely, obviously it's an AI company, but it's a little different, and it's in a way that I think could be a benefit to so many people listening right now. So again, I didn't want to do a commercial, but I couldn't help myself. I love you guys so much. So talk to me a little bit about, tell the audience a little bit at a high level what Gaia is, and what I mean by it's AI, but it's not like your typical scary AI.
Yeah. So Gaia is so the problem we're solving for is repetitive data entry, right? If on the personal line side, you might have your comparative rater that's helping you bridge some carriers, but maybe you have 5 other carriers that are not bridging out of it. Maybe you have Erie. Maybe you're on the high net worth side and you have Pure, Cincinnati, Vault, AIG, Berkeley One. Maybe you have this mutual. Maybe you have these ENS markets that can't bridge on the PL rater or Easy Links or Triple Rater. You have a lot of repetitive data entry. Whether you are on the commercial line side, where you just go to the carriers because you don't trust the comparative raters over there, or maybe you're filling a lot of Accord supplemental apps. It's a lot of rekeying in the same kind of information over and over again. That's the problem we're solving for. How can we eliminate?
Look at you're just showing out. You're just showing out all this knowledge you have about the insurance industry and showing everybody. I know what I'm talking about. I love it, dude. You've gotten all in on insurance, man, and I think it's great. You just keep showing off over there.
Oh, come on, man. I feel arrogant now.
Amazing. No, not at all. It's fantastic. It shows you really have done your research. Keep going, man. I love it. Sorry.
Yeah. So that is the biggest problem we found, and that's really what we're committing ourselves to solve. How are we solving it? We built a tiny little browser extension that anyone can install on Chrome or Edge, which are the 2 browsers that everyone uses, right? You install it over there, and what does it do? You can upload into it anything you want. An intake sheet that's handwritten, a declaration page. You can go to Canopy Connect and extract whatever Canopy Connect pulled for you. You can integrate with Salt and Risk Advisor as well, if you're having some of these fancy intake tools for personal line. We have an integration with Modern Metric if you're on the high net worth side and you enjoy the Discover platform that they have. And so the starting point can be anything you want, a jot form, a gravity form. And even it can be pulling directly from your AMS, right? It's not just for new business, it's for remarketing. If you are on AMS 360, you can click on a Send to Gaia button that's in there that can bridge over to Gaia extension so that we can categorize and really make everything looks good. You will have all the drivers, the vehicles, the properties, the coverage details, etc. Right? And that's just a personal line example to start this, like the example. And so You go into this information is now on the Gaia browser extension. It's stored locally, right, on that browser. It's like a cookie. It's not a cookie technically. It's called Chrome storage, stored locally. Now you want to go into a carrier portal or a comparative rater. Let's say you want to go fill PL rater. You open it, and then Gaia appears on the right-hand side telling you, hey, for this page, I have 10 fields I can fill for you. You click on it. It's a one-click autofill, and it super pastes. And the super pasting function, we pride ourselves in. It's not like the Xylo or HawkLink or Canopy Connect's policy paste. It's very much tailored to be very much intuitive. You one click and boom, it fills everything. It fills, if you have 5 drivers, it will build the 5 drivers for you, not the same driver 5 times. You don't have to select which address you have to fill if it's on the mailing address. It will know this is the mailing address, not the property address. So it's very much well thought out, and it's carrier agnostic. It's already being used across 500 plus carriers. Now, we do not just fill carrier portals, autofill carrier portals. We can also autofill AMSs. So Applied Epic, AMS v60, Now Search. We cannot fill Hawksoft because it's a desktop app, right? Yes, Hawksoft v6 is out, but it's read-only from my understanding. But none of it is on the web. We can also super paste into it or autofill it. But what we can do as well is autofill any PDF you want, any Accord, any supplemental app. Although we also are working on integrations with great intake tools like Samply and Wonderwrite, we also do some form of, we do some overlap here and there and pre-fill some PDFs and some Excel workbooks, which are very essential because sometimes you want to generate a long list of drivers and trucks so you can bulk import it into your AMS. Or you want to generate a quick Accord 127, 129, or a supplemental app for Canal and Northland. And same thing on the commercial property side. You want to generate a long SOV list, fill up the supplemental app, etc. So that's Gaia in a nutshell. It's we're in the trucking business. What do I mean by that? The data trucking business. We move data from point A to point B. We're not an intake tool, at least not now. Some people do use us as an intake tool, like they just take notes on Gaia, and then Gaia parses the note. But it's not an intake. It's like a blah. It's like a draft. Proper intake tools exist, and they do it great. And we're not by any means one of those. But we are. We take information from any point, whether it's a new intake or an AMS, and then we parse it out, and then we help you autofill the carrier portals and the PDFs, any PDF you have to fill, and it's user in the loop. So if we do 90% of your work, we're already happy. And that's why like the early versions of the RPA tools that were promising you bots that will go and fill in everything for you, they have a harder time because they can break often. They are promising you too much, and their fragility makes it painful. In our case, if we do not fill a driver license for driver number 66, that's fine. You just fill it yourself because you're on the screen as well. So that's Gaia's tool right now, super copy and super paste. And the biggest bet we have is agentic quoting, which is what we're working on. But for now, it's a user in the loop tool used across 500 plus carriers as we speak, but we're carrier agnostic, AMS agnostic, and we have a public API for anyone who wants to come and integrate their tools with us.
Yeah. And I appreciate you breaking that down so well. And so the for those that, aren't using it right now, or, just now hearing about it for the first time and they're still wrapping their head around it, what's the number one use case that you're seeing most often when people first sign up with Gaia?
Quoting, really quoting, like nothing else. Quoting, whether it's personal line carriers, whether it's filling the comparative rater, whether it's super copying out of the comparative rater, because some people use their comparative rater as their intake tool. They are on the phone with the client and they take notes on EasyLinks or PL rater. Great. PL rater does not bridge to Erie. How do you do that? You super copy from PL rater and you super paste on Erie. Similarly with the high net worth carriers.
Sure.
Starting point can be anything.
Yeah. And, I like that you brought up the MGAs and some of the apps that they have, and sometimes they have supplemental apps that they need from the carriers and whatnot. And again, at the same time, like we talked about this earlier, it's that saving time, and it is, eliminating keystrokes. And that's what you guys are really good at with your super copy, super paste, and then putting it on a super clipboard for that matter. That it doesn't really hallucinate, like you said. I mean, it's on this super clipboard, so to speak, and then you can paste that wherever you need it to go.
Exactly.
And I think that's phenomenal. Everybody I hear that's, with Gaia or that's a user, they're like, man, it's been a huge game changer for my agency, or it's been like the best thing ever. And it seems like you guys have really thought through the adoption piece of it and really helped agencies to get through that. And now that I know your background more, that's probably where that comes from, is knowing how to do that change management.
Yeah, yeah. Now, recently we launched Gaia 2.0, which it's really a bet on the, you know, I'm making a post soon about the Gaia, the data gathering process in insurance being like Lego. Now that I have a 2.5 year old and he's starting to get into Legos, it's great
Oh
to
yeah.
start doing your first, like when you unbox it and you start putting the piece together, it's awesome. But the next time you're doing it, good luck finding all these pieces. And so the Gaia 2.0 is allowing now people to, let's say you're starting with the data that's in your applied epic. On the property side, it's going to be missing. Same thing for AMS 360. You're going to have the coverages, but you're not going to have all the property you want. And so what most agents do, they will start there, copy the information, and then they go to Zillow and literally with their cursor select the portion of the website of Zillow, copy it, and then paste it into Gaia. And Gaia further enrich itself. And then they go and fill the first carrier. The first carrier has all these RCE tools in there, right? So they help you figure out the roof, the plumbing, etc. And so after they fill it and they plug the hole in that first carrier, they super copy again. So they use Gaia on a carrier to super paste into it, to autofill it. But then they pick up the additional data point that they fed that carrier. Why? So that the next carrier they're going into, they don't have to rekey the same holes that they filled on the previous carrier. So now with Gaia, as you super paste, you can super copy on the go. So it's no longer copying from point A and pasting into point B, C, D, like it used to be a year ago. Now it is copying from point A, paste into point B, copy again maybe from point B some of the stuff, go to point C, paste into point C, copy again from point C, so you can continue your journey. And at the end, you're going to have the most rich application data set, way richer than whatever you collected on your intake. Yes, you can use a lot of the intake tools out there, but everyone knows that the quoting journey is a journey where it doesn't start with data intake as step one. Data intake is happening across the journey. So that's what Gaia 2.0 is. And we're seeing a lot of amazing results for new business and remarketing application.
Dude, that is so awesome. I can't wait to hear more of that comes out. And man, I know we're, coming up on time, but I did want to make sure that if anybody wanted to reach out, contact you, whether it's, you personally, would that be LinkedIn, or won't you let the audience know how they can find you, how they can find Gaia, how they can, connect better, just, how all the things.
Yeah. So my LinkedIn is, Carl, Carl, Ziade, Ziade. Carl, Carl, Ziade. That's you can find me on LinkedIn directly. You'll find some Gaia stuff around me. And then Gaia.ai, you can go there whenever if you want to schedule a demo, just make sure there's a question saying who referred you. You can say the mayor, and you'll be surprised with a nice gift on our structure with you. I'm not going to say what is the gift. It's going to be a nice surprise for those intrigued. Just go and tap along, and you will hear from us. And yeah, in terms of subscribe to our blog, subscribe to our newsletter. It's a nice product. It's not a year-long contract like so many other vendors force you in. We are a month-to-month contract, so meaning you can break any time, which gives you this. We don't have free trial, but given that it's month-to-month, it makes it easy for you to try and then figure it out for yourself. But as I said, if you're not yet clear on your process, clear it up first, and we can help you on that front. Given our knowledge in the industry, you can come to us and we can help you as well.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here in Insurance Town. And guys, make sure you reach out. And now I'm interested in this gift. So, however many of you guys are listening right now, tell them the mayor sent you, just so we can see what that gift is, and send me a picture of what that is, or tag me on LinkedIn when you post about it. But anyhow, thanks, Carl. Again, I appreciate you so much, brother.
Me too. You take good care, man.
All right, brother.